Hi there, I'm Sara and you are watching Absolute Beginner Machine Embroidery. Every time I go into a store, I'm always drawn to the word art that I see. It could be paintings, it could be embroidered, and they're all sorts of cute little phrases that you can hang on your wall. I have them all over my place because it's fun to see happy little phrases when you walk into different parts of your house. So I thought it would be really fun to show you how in software you can create some of those yourself. I did an article on this for Creative Machine Embroidery and used a cute happy little phrase, grow old with a young heart. And I worked on that with embroidery designs, fonts built into software, and I also edited some of the embroidery designs built into the Destiny and combined it all to create one embroidery design. We're going to take it a step back from there today, and I'm going to show you how you can do just the lettering. I'm working with the Hatch software, and inside of Hatch software you'll find all kinds of fun fonts to play with, and just pick out your favorite word phrase. You can do the subway word art where you've just got a theme of all different words in different directions in one embroidery hooping, or you could do a song quote or your favorite Bible verse, lots of different options. I did Be Brave, Be Strong, Be Girly. It was a cute little embroidery design that I found, and I'm going to show you how we could kind of recreate the text, and then I'll also show you how you can wrap your embroidery design around a blank canvas to create a little wall hanging. So here I am in the main screen of the Hatch software, and along the left side of the screen I have many different options, different ways I can play here. I'm going to select lettering and monogramming, and then I'll choose lettering. And this is exactly where I need to go to be able to start playing with word art. Now, when I select lettering, this little pop-up screen opens up on the right side of my computer screen. And the first thing that I see is alignment. This is kind of a nice place to start. You can choose, do you want all of your sentences or the elements of your phrase to be left justified and that they're all straight on the left? They could be right justified, they could even be centered, and I'm going to do left justified. Now I can scroll up here and I'll find that I have a text box, and I'm going to type the word be, and it puts it right into my screen. Now it put it in a block form, and I can move that if I want, or I can put it back to where it was and allow it. I can do undo move because I've got them all left justified. But now I need to add another word in. So I'm going to do brave. But this time I'm going to choose a different font. So when I select font right here, I click right on it, it gives me all of the fonts built into Hatch software, and it shows me my word in every single font on the side, so I can see what it's going to look like before I type it in. I really like that because sometimes you have to type the word, choose the font, see if you like it, type another one, and it kind of is an arduous process. It takes a lot longer. So I really like that it just automatically shows me my word in all of these different fonts. So if I do slim block and then move it over, I now have my Be Brave. Now I can enter another word, so I've got another B there. And this time we'll select a different font for that. Maybe try this Enviro and move it down. And then the next word is strong. And we'll choose another font. Let's see, what's a good one for strong? There are so many choices. You can just play forever. There we go. And then you can just continue on. If you decide that you want to really focus in on a word, you can also resize it. When you hover your cursor over one of the cornerstones when the block is selected, if a block is selected or a word, you'll see that you've got these little squares all around it. If you hover your cursor over one of those corner squares and drag, it will stretch the word out for you. So then you can have an even larger font or word, and you still have the ability to move it around. So you can continue adding different fonts, different words, play with the alignment. If you decide that you don't want them all left aligned like that, you can move them up. And all you have to do is simply click on each word and then drag it into the position that you want. Now another thing that's neat about this is you could go in and grab embroidery designs and add them to it, and it will digitize all of this right together for you. Now when you have created something that you like the looks of, you can save it. So we'll just stick with the Be Brave, Be Strong, and I can go up to File, And I have many save options here. You'll see save design and save design as. Now that's a little bit of a trick. If you touch save design, all you're saving is the work that you're creating inside your computer, which might be good because that means that if you want to come back to it later, you can bring up what you had saved and continue working on it without having to start from scratch again. But you have not yet saved it as an embroidery file. The first step is to know what format embroidery design your embroidery machine reads. Every single embroidery machine has a special little language that it understands, and it's usually a 3 or 4 letter code. I sew on baby lock machines, and mine happens to be PES. So I need to make sure that I save this as a PES embroidery file. So I'm going to touch Export Design. That's how you turn it into your file. And here I can change the name. We'll call that Be Strong. And then underneath of that, I have Save As Type. When you click on that, you have every single file format for every type of embroidery machine. Mine auto-populates PES because I use that all the time. And touch Save, and now it has saved that as a PES file for me. So I'll take my laptop out of the way here, and I'll show you once again my little article phrase here. We've got grow old with a young heart with little flowers on it, and if I flip this over, you'll see that I embroidered that onto a piece of Essex linen, one of my favorite fabrics, and then just stapled it to a canvas. And that's exactly what we're going to do with my other little phrase here. Now I stitched this in a square embroidery hoop, my 8x8 embroidery hoop. And I then cut it down to size. I had a big piece of fabric, and I used a big square ruler to center my design, and I cut this to 16 inches square. So it's a little bit shorter than, or excuse me, a little bit more narrow than 8 inches, but it's 8 inches tall. And I just made sure that when I placed my big ruler on, I had the same distance from all 4 of the edges of my design. So I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches there. I have 5.5 inches in this direction. It's really important to make sure that you've got it nicely centered. So it's perfectly centered, and again, a big square ruler helps with that. And then I cut it to 16 inches, and I got a 12 by 12 canvas. So I've got a little bit of extra room to work on. Now I'm going to place my design onto my canvas, but we really want to make sure that it's centered. So one of the easiest ways to do this, I know that this is a 12 by 12 canvas, so I'm going to lay my 6-inch ruler right on the canvas and give myself a mark at the halfway point on all 4 edges. 6-inch ruler is a really handy size. So again, just give it a mark, give it a mark. There we go. And I've folded my piece of fabric in half, and I'm going to place my fold right along those marked lines. Just like this. Scoot that one over, okay? Now I know that it's centered from side to side, and now I'm going to check top to bottom. So I'm going to gently fold my bottom edge up to the top without adjusting the fabric side to side, and I can see I'm a little too high. So I can slide this down, just like that, and then fold it back over. So we want to make sure that we don't adjust the alignment when I flip this over to start with the staple gun. So I've got it all in place. You could use a little spray adhesive too if you're concerned about accidentally nudging it, but I'm going to just kind of wrap the fabric around the sides and then gently flip it over, just like that, and make sure that everything stays nice and straight. So now it works best if you just kind of gently use your finger to smooth the fabric over the edge of your canvas. You don't want to push and tug at it, otherwise you're going to have pull marks on the front side of your project. So you're just gently rolling the fabric over the canvas itself. And then you want to put a center staple, and that's going to hold everything taut as we work around. So really carefully, keep your fingers out of the way, staple that into position, okay? And then you always work opposite sides, so I'm rotating this around, and I'm going to gently finger smooth the fabric over and apply one staple to the center. Just bring it smooth. Okay. And I'll do the same on the 2 side edges. And you really want to work on centering, doing a center staple on all 4 edges before you start on your corners. Let's get my fingers out of the way. There we go. last side. So just smooth that over. And staple. There. Now we can work on the corners. And when you do your corners, you want to give yourself a nice mitered edge. So you want to gently pull the fabric from the center, and then you can gently pull the sides in and give yourself a nice smooth mitered edge. Now sometimes you kind of play with it a little bit. Just make sure it all stays nice and smooth. So I've got a nice 45-degree angle on that first corner. Pivot that just a little bit more. There we go, there's my angle. And I'll apply one staple. Okay, and now I'll just kind of angle and miter that second side. And you want to just get a real nice smooth edge on your corner. There we go. Kind of got a little crooked on that one, but there. So the first corner is done. Now I'm going to work on the opposite. By the time you do all 4 corners, you'll definitely be a pro. Bring that center in and then gently fold in one side. Give it a little finger press. And now I'll bring in the other side of my corner there. There we go. That's a good one. And staple. And then again, you're just going to keep working around all 4 corners. Now, if you should happen to find that one of your staples is a little loose, like mine is there, you can simply tap it with a little tap hammer, real gentle, and it will tap it right in for you. Once you have done all 4 edges, you can come back in and trim off some of the excess fabric. And if you really want it to look finished on the back side, apply a little ribbon with the hot glue or a little drapery trim to the back side, and it will cover all the raw edges of your fabric and batting. And then when you flip it over, you'll have a really cute little wall hanging that you can give away as a gift or hang somewhere in your home. Now I hope that you will try some embroidery software. It really is a lot of fun. It's a good way to kind of take your embroidery skills up a notch, learn a little bit more, and the Hatch is a great place to start with all of those amazing built-in fonts. Thank you so much for watching. Come back and see me again on Absolute Beginner Machine Embroidery. This episode of Absolute Beginner Machine Embroidery has been brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing; Madeira, color your life; Hatch Software, bring embroidery to life; furniture provided by Koala, fine sewing furniture custom built in America.